Hello, everyone. How are you? Hope you're having a fantastic day, and may peace be upon you. Thank you for watching the show. Yes, I can. With me, your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. And today, I'm joined by the fabulous, gorgeous, inspirational ladies from the Corporate Dropout, a book project. Darlings, come and say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
It is still early in the morning, and some of them are really late at night, but it's just my pleasure to have them today on my show to talk about how you can use a book to build trust and credibility, either with yourself, with the audience, and the people around you. So we're going to be having such a conversation today. So let's start off with introducing this beautiful lady this is the lady that is the bridge, the way I see her, the bridge that made it possible for me to connect with these other amazing ladies, which I absolutely adore. And she is actually in Hawaii. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning there for her, but looking absolutely fantastic. Amy, darling, come and say hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us on. I'm so excited. It was worth getting up this early. For some of us, I know we probably haven't even been to bed yet, but I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And Amy, quickly, a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a business coach. I help female entrepreneurs really grow and scale their businesses by creating a signature sellable offer that people are ready to buy.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. And Amy, also, we have a collaboration together where she helps me a lot with money abundance and rewiring and tapping into my true potential. So Amy, thank you for joining us today, darling. And the next one, I just wanted to introduce this beautiful lady because her vision, her commitment, the fight that she has for women to share their voices, to go out there, to put themselves out there, is absolutely courageous. So Taryn, darling, all the way from the country down under, say hello, introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. It is such a joy to be here and to be surrounded by some of my amazing authors. These faces here, these souls are the reason that I do what I do. And I am the CEO of Four Eagles Publishing, and I specialize in creating books that create impact, inspiration, and igniting people's hearts across the world. We are really a platform that allows people to amplify their voice and their message for the truth that is them, their truth, totally uncensored and told in a way that moves people towards them. Because I think so often in business, we get to see this kind of polished front, and storytelling is anything but that. And that's what moves people.
Absolutely. Because a lot of people just think that, ta-da, here I am, isn't it? In actual reality, oh my God. How many of you darlings have cried? Yes. How many of you have rolled? How many of you have experienced extreme PMS and then amplify all your emotion that you broke down? It is hard work to be a leader. Nobody wants to be a leader because it is hard work. But if it's not up to us, then who is it that's going to take care of the people around us? So beautiful, beautiful mission, Taryn, beautiful. Next, I want to say hello and let Rai introduce herself. Amy said that she has the easiest time from all of us because Amy is in 3 o'clock in the morning, Taryn and Jenny in Australia. So Rai, come and introduce and say hello.
Sure. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. So I'm Hyde Cornell. I'm a copywriter and content marketer. Been freelance writing for about 15 years now. And I also teach creative entrepreneurs how to build healthier, happier, more profitable businesses while enjoying the freedom of freelancing.
Absolutely. And that is key, isn't it, right? Because the last thing you want is to become the slave to the monster that you created. Yeah, people say freedom, and then suddenly you'll be like slaving away. So this is not freedom in my book. So thank you so much for joining. And then the next one, I have this gorgeous lady who has a corporate career. She was a lawyer before, but something within her, her passion, embracing a part of her that is spiritual, that is light, and also a vision, a conscious vision that she sees that is missing in people's lives. So Anjani, all the way from down under again, Australians are conquering the day today. Say hello and introduce yourself.
Hi there, I'm Anjani Amrit, and my business empowers women. So I'm an advocate for women's empowerment. We also build conscious leaders for the new world, and we mobilize change makers. And it's our mission really to help women transition from the normal 9-to-5 or their corporate role into something that they're passionate about, help them make that transition with ease and grace, and help them feel empowered doing so and doing it successfully.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much, Anjani. And what I feel about you, Anjani, is that you're someone I want in my corner, because not only are you going to be compassionate for me, but you are going to fight for my voice. You are going to fight for my right and have that compassion and love while doing all the ways. So thank you so much. What a blessing to have you. And next I have the beautiful Sarah Blake here in her, for those of you who are in the podcast, you can't see, but her thing is hero, magician, sage, lover. Wow, tell me more, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sarah from Denver. Those are my archetypes. I am a certified partner in culture talk, and I use that in my practice. I'm an emotional intelligence and leadership coach. And one of the foundations of my work is when there is alignment with our values, stories, and surroundings, there's alignment within. And to understand who you are gets you to that point. And I use archetypes as one of my tools to get there. So that's what my hero, magician, sage, and lover is.
Beautiful. So it's kind of like the alignment, isn't it, Sarah, that what you work with, because a part of you can say this, I know this point when I'm not in alignment, there's always a battle. It's exhausting when that happens. So beautiful. Thank you. Because for a moment there, Sarah, I thought you're going to come up with a flower all of a sudden, or a fish behind you, you know, something. But it's kind of like who you in how you're being in that situation, right? And how you have to be in that situation. That is beautiful. Perhaps if we're lucky, we may see some magicians coming out, a magic show coming up behind it. But thank you so much, darlings. And today I really want to ask each and every one of these ladies, because what is their vision and what made them want to share their story in a book? There are multiple other platforms that they can use their voices for, and one of them is a book. So it's not the easiest thing, because a book, once you share it, when it's out there, it's like out there kind of thing. It's being seen. The way I see a book, first and foremost, is always an act of service, a legacy that we can live on. Kind of scary, but it's actually pretty cool when you think about it. So I'm going to come to Ray here. So Ray, kind of give us what's the main reason why you wanted to share your story in a book, and also, was it scary? Was it exciting? Were you like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, and then click?
Yeah, so it was definitely scary. I think for me, the reason why a book made sense is I'm a writer by trade. I feel like I'm a writer by soul. I've been a writer ever since I was a little kid, and I get hold a pen and carry a little notebook in my back pocket. And I feel like the written word is so powerful and it carries so much energy. And in our hyper digital world, there's something about getting back to books and just reading that story on paper that just connects human to human, even through time and space. So the book just felt like the right place for me to share my story, honor my story, more so than, you know, on a Instagram live that might be gone in 30 seconds. So it was terrifying. And I shared some things that I didn't know that I was actually going to share, but I wrote my story. I sent it off to Taryn. I had a little freak out the next day, emailed her about 97 times, and then I didn't read it again until after it was published. And it was one of those things where that's what felt right for me, because I just had to get it out and trust that what was coming through and how I said it and what I needed to say was what whoever was reading it in 3 months, in 3 years, in 3 decades, that's what they needed to hear and how they needed to hear it.
Absolutely. Just trusting in the process. Because sometimes in your mind, you start with a vision, right? And then when you start writing, it becomes something else. Yeah. And then there's nothing about when people come to you at a point and say, you know what, you saved my life. Yeah. Or your words made everything to me that day. There is nothing like it. And at the moment, you could probably feel like, oh my God, what have I written and everything? Why would I even do it? But it's absolutely beautiful. And coming into the loop with Amy, because I know, Amy, it is also your first time writing a book. What was the process like for you? And why did you choose to write a book? Was it something? I know Amy is like so positive, but she lives in Hawaii, for God's sake, right? Like, it's Hawaii, the place where everybody wants to be. So what made me choose to write a book, especially to share your story? Because I know in some parts of your story, you shared what, you know what, things didn't work out. And when it didn't work out, it didn't work out like really like hugely. You were living in places that you were not imagining it, that you were living, and the challenges. So Amy, kind of share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so for me, it was honestly, as cliche as it sounds, it was about giving hope to even one other person that read that. Because for me, I had to kind of advocate for myself throughout my whole journey, right? Like nobody else was saying like, you've got this, like you can move, you can change careers. Like nobody was in my corner ever saying that. And so I always felt like I was one, crazy, right? Because I was like, nobody else is doing this around me. But for me, looking back, like I feel so strongly that I was meant to do that so that I can be a beacon for other people and I can show them what's possible. And so I'm someone who grew up in such a tiny town in the middle of the US. It's Iowa. I know a lot of people probably have never even heard of it because it's that insignificant. A lot of farming, a lot of corn, a lot of livestock. And so if I can go from that to living in $1 million home in Hawaii, all because I was willing to take risk and I was willing to do things that weren't conventional. I want this for anybody else who wants it. And I want to show them like, hey, this is possible. And it might not always look like I think everybody paints this vision of like, oh, it's, rainbows and butterflies and everything is perfect. And it's like, no, actually, I had a lot of freaking roadblocks along the way, but I want to be where I am right now had I not been willing to do those things.
Absolutely. It's the risk, isn't it, Amy? The risk and being unconventional, the outliers. Amy, when they do the graph, right? They do the graph like that, everything there's a TED Talk about it. They do all the dots and then there's Amy there, right outside there. Guess what happens to the Amy on the data? Get crossed over. It doesn't count because it's an outlier. But the outliers, you, me, Taryn, Rai, and Johnny, Sarah, are the ones that are trailblazing the path for others to grow. And literally, we're not even in the data, darling. So like, hello, look at where we are. And the roadblocks that you went through are like absolutely spot on to like advocate to other women. Hey, this is what I've gone through. Let me tell you, darling, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not easy, but you can go through it. So thank you so much, Amy, for that. It's absolutely beautiful. Taryn, darling, speaking about taking risk, what you do as a publisher is a lot of risk. To share this woman, to put yourself in front of it. Hey, do you want to share your voice in a book? Do you want to share a story in a book? And then to combine everything together is an absolute freaking nightmare. So why do you even do it like over and over? I'm guessing this is not your first time because you have other women as well to do it over and over and over again. And every time the risk gets bigger. So why is it important for you to still do that over and over again?
So I don't do it for me. I do it for the trailblazers. I do it for the outliers. I do it for humanity as a way of making it better. Because I think that we are running so fast as a society. And storytelling is something that is so woven throughout the human existence, the human DNA, what it means to be human. Those stories are how we learn. They're how we connect. They're how we find our people. They're how we remember our ancestors. They're how we find guidance. And yes, it is a lot of risk and it is a lot of work, but it is the most beautiful moment when you see an author who is scared to share her voice or his voice, and they write this story, and you hold them through it, and you love them through it, and you nourish them through it, and they come out the other side. And it's not even about just writing a book. That's not why I do it. It's the healing, transformation, and expansion that happens on the other side when they can pop through the other end of the birthing of their book, and they look around and they remember how powerful and glorious they are. And it's that expansion in self-confidence in their business and their brand as well, to go forward and do even more amazing things and create even more impact and touch even more people. And then someone else goes, oh, I can do that too. And so they go through the process, and then they touch other people. And it's like these little lights of joy and expansion and remembrance going off across the globe. That's why I do what I do.
Absolutely. And that is the point, Taryn, where nobody believes in them, not even themselves.
Yes.
But you and other people are like, you know what, darling, you need to get out there. But nope, this is your time. Take it. This is spotlight. And that's what you fight for other women to like, you know what, even if you can't fight for yourself, I will fight it for you. I will carry 100%. You through. I will take you to the finish line and beyond. Because that's what leaders do. That's what liars do. That's why we're not in the data. Like, you come
exactly. Exactly. I act as the voice in order for them to find theirs.
Yes, you're the vessel for them. You are the vessel, the vehicle that allows that to happen. And I can see Sarah here just bursting. Something's coming out here, like something just kind of like exploded in her. Sarah, darling, come in and share your thoughts about why sharing your voice in a book is important, or at least it is one of the best things that you can do for yourself or for other people.
For me personally, I was very grateful that I was able to do this process with Karen, because she did really hold my hand through the whole process. Mine was very much a healing process. I left my corporate job through lawyers. And so even sharing part of my story, there was so much apprehension behind that. And one of the things I shared with Taryn afterwards was it helped me not come from an angry, hurtful, vindictive place of how could they get away with this? And it was really more of a healing story, and that it's okay if you don't know what you're doing next. You can redefine success for yourself, and that just to be able to get that out of me, because I was holding it in for so long. First off, again, it was healing. And then to let other people know you're not alone. If one other person reads the story and goes, holy crap, I'm going through this, or I went through this, or I'm on the verge of it. And to be able to help them not go through what I went through, I needed to get that story out there.
Absolutely. And more like it started off as a healing process for you, isn't it, Sarah? Part of your healing process, point to share. And, that point when you feel like you're a victim, like you said, coming from blame, being a victim. And for those of you who are listening, that is a normal process. Just witness it. Just allow it to happen. Don't make it good, bad, right, or wrong. It's part of the healing process. But then in the process, you're like, you know what? This is who I am now. Yes, at one point I was this, and then this is who I am. Because victim mindset, if anybody carries it through, you're going to get, not only you're going to get sick, but you're not going to be winning people over anymore with that story. Because, you know, it sells, it's a drama thing. It sells a lot, right? It sells a lot. But at one point people are like, they don't see you past that victim. But when you share it from the point of, hey, this is what I went through and this is where I am now. And it takes a lot of courage to do that, Sarah. So well done for like being open, being vulnerable, and, you know, having that courage. Courage is fear plus commitment plus action. There's still fear in it. That's how you know you're living. So beautifully done, Sarah. And I'm going to come to Anjani here because her story is also kind of like, hey, I'm in the corporate world. She's a lawyer, you're a lawyer. And then you're like, you know, you have such a fabulous job, don't you? With the security, with the high profile, you work with amazing people in your corporate job. But there was a transition or like a desire within you that like, you know what, this is my next move. And it takes a lot of courage to do that, but also commitment to make it happen. And not to mention the salary drop, right? Anjani? So darling, come and share why is it important for you to share your story in the book? Because I know lawyers, they like either black or white. They don't like anything in between. So come and share like what makes you like have a call to do this?
The book literally leapt out at me. So I'm an introvert and I'm also an intuitive. And I work a lot with energy. And when I heard about this book and the title of the book, it literally jumped out at me and I couldn't say no. The title really resonated with me and I knew that it would resonate with others. I knew that I'd be able to really share my story and my transition through this book. And I was excited, even more than all of that, to meet other women who had done what I had done, because up until then, I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one who had left a so-called blazing career, successful career, dropped out and taken the unconventional path and gone my own way. And at the time when I was doing it, when I left law, everyone around me was like, you're insane. What are you doing? You're crazy. So just, like Amy, there was no one for me in my corner cheering for me, saying, you've got this. I'm so proud. Congratulations. There was none of that. So I had to do it alone. And it's very difficult to do that by yourself. And so for me, sharing my story and warts and all, it's a real warts and all story that I share. There's nothing left to be unsaid in my story, and telling it like it is so people really understand the courage, like you said, that it does take to transition into doing something that you love. But the upside is when you follow your heart's calling, when you follow the call of what I call your soul, that deep inner voice, your intuitive hit, when you follow it, everything that you need is lined up for you. And so trusting that. So I just trusted, and it wrote itself. My chapter in the book literally wrote itself, and it was a joy to write, and it's been a joy to share it with everyone. So yeah, it's super exciting.
That is beautiful. And the intuition that you talk about, this is something that everyone have, but most of the time they choose to ignore it because it usually tells you to go the other way. It usually tells you to go the other way. The way I see it, leaders, if society goes this way, leaders go this way, because they are creating a path for other people. I wanted to come back to Amy here about intuition, because working with Amy is very intuitive. She allows that to occur in her business. Like Amy, you don't have a checklist to kind of doing that, right? So I just wanted to check in with you, Amy, in terms of number one, intuition, just a little bit kind of like what it takes to trust intuition in the business. And also what kind of impact are you seeing that you have to yourself or others by being an author?
I love this question. So to the intuition piece, I think, as we've mentioned kind of a few times, we are the outliers, right? We are the people that are paving our own path, so to speak. And so for me, it was that intuition piece that was guiding me. And I even spoke about this in my story a little bit, of like this nudge, this whisper of like, don't settle, there's more. And it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. So I didn't even mention this the first round, but I was a marriage and family therapist. I had a fantastic job, literally like clients just handed to me every single week. Like it was great. It was like everything that I thought that I wanted until I got it. And then it wasn't what I wanted. But every step, that intuition piece, even though there were times, I'm not perfect, I didn't listen to it as quickly as I could have. It never steered me wrong. Every crazy decision, every crazy idea, it's still guiding me. It's still leading me. And again, I wouldn't be where I am today without that. So listen to that intuition. And honestly, for me, it feels like that inner knowing, right? That little whisper, that little voice that's like, you know, you're going along and it's like this, and your feelings. That's another way that I do it too, right? Does this feel good to you? Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Are you excited? And if you're not, oftentimes it's because, you know, coming back to the alignment piece, something's off and something's missing. And so we can always have the ability to kind of tweak that and check in with ourselves to see like what would make this better. So that's the intuition pice. Can you remind me the second question?
The second question is the impact that you can see has happened or already happening or soon to happen from being an author, from being a #1 international best-selling author.
I love this. Okay, so one, it's just the authority piece, right? Of like, and this was something Terrence spoke to me about early on, of just like, people view you differently. Like when you can add that to your title, to your resume, it's like, it honestly, it sets you apart in the best way possible, right? It makes people take you seriously. It makes people double look at you. And so a lot of us are entrepreneurs. And so if you can add that or showcase that, it immediately is a credibility builder. And so that's been really fun and awesome. And for me also, I mean, the accolades are nice, don't get me wrong, but it always comes back to that piece of hope of like, I've had so many women reach out and be like, I want to write a book too, or I want to be in a book too. And you know, reading your chapter has helped me see I can do this too. And so for me, that's what makes it all worth it. Like I'm willing to put myself out there and to go first because it allows other women to say, I can do that too.
Absolutely. And it is that part, allowing others, like advocating for them. This is possible because majority of the time people do have that desire, but they kind of like, no, kind of pull back, but kind of like you trading the passion that, okay, this is possible, and the authority. I mean, who would you rather choose, a self-proclaimed expert or a best-selling author? I mean, it is a no-brainer kind of that. And look at today, Amy, what has caused today from the book, right? For us to meeting in. And I remember like when I first got connected to you, you sent me a message. It was after I have given my TED Talk. TED Talk is really, really intense. It's a 6 to 12 months process. My brain was fried. And then Amy messaged me after the TED Talk. I'm like, huh? What's going on? Okay. And then I think I said yes. And then like, okay, yes. And then it led to something. And then the next thing. And then the next thing. It's always that. And then today, and I'm pretty sure this is like, we have more to come. We have more to come within us. So beautifully said, Amy. I want to kind of like come back to Sarah here. What's the biggest impact that you feel that you have achieved or received from being an author?
It's very personal. It's the validation that what I went through so many people didn't know, the people I worked with that ended up reading my chapter and going, the validation of, yes, I see that in our culture. I didn't see it happening to you, but now that I've read your story, I can now see it. And so that's the biggest impact, I think, is as all of us are sharing our stories, a lot of us left because the workplace culture was not aligned with who we were and who we are at our core. And so when we start to share it, people can start seeing it because they've never heard it before from our perspective. And so I think that's the biggest impact. And I'm excited for it to be a ripple effect, that more and more people start seeing the microaggressions, the whatever, the little things that add up and going, oh, that's what all these women were talking about. That's why they're leaving. How do we shift? How do we change?
Absolutely. It's kind of like you said, first and foremost, it's kind of your own thing, isn't it? Oh my God, did I really do that? It's kind of your bucket list and giving yourself the confidence, like, you know what? I'm actually pretty amazing, and kind of like doing that. And the confidence, and then like you said, allowing others to see and opening their eyes from the people that read the chapter, even if it's just a line. We know how people read and then, oh, and then they focus on something. So that is beautiful, Sarah. And if I haven't said it before, that I want to say that I'm so, so proud with each and every one of you ladies for showing up, for sharing your stories. It's giving me goosebumps. I can like feel it, because the amount of courage, the amount of commitment it takes, even though it's like a chapter, but it takes everything to put yourself out there with that one chapter, with the words, the thinking. Is this the thing? Is this, should I do this? Should I do this? What if people don't like it? What if I become this? What if it seems this? It takes everything. And I just wanted to acknowledge each and every one of you for being there, how proud I am, how, like celebrating each and every one of you ladies. So celebrating Amy, Terry, and Rai, and Johnny, and Sarah for the work that you do, for the courage that you do, for the commitment to fight for yourself and other people. So well done, darlings. So you're not alone anymore. So if you say it any more time, I'm alone, like I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna make you cook a meal for me, okay? So you're not alone anymore. I'm proud of each and every one of you. So right, darling, come and share what is like the biggest impact that you have seen from being an author.
Oh yeah, and I feel like the biggest pieces are yet to come, because the book is so new. And yet in these early stages, the stories that I've heard, the people who've reached out to me, the people who've emailed me going, I just read your chapter. Holy crap. And they, my chapter is very much about mental health. And like Amy, I was in the mental health world. I was training to be an LMFT, and I've received feedback from people on both sides, on the side of freelancers who say, yeah, I went into the freelance lifestyle because I struggle with mental health issues too, because I share my story of PTSD in that chapter. And then on the flip side, hearing from people in the mental health world saying, yeah, I did go into this field because I kind of had this hero complex to make sense and make value out of the traumas that I went through. And so just the fact that nobody talks about this, nobody talks about the fact that a lot of us go into entrepreneurship and being our own bosses because we have suffered traumas, we have dealt with mental health issues. And so we need to kind of create a world that's tailor suited to us. And that's perfectly fine. You can do that. And it actually creates the space for you to heal way faster than if you try to force yourself into that very corporate kind of traditional path and be someone that you're not. The freelance and entrepreneurial lifestyle allows you to really be who you are. And that's not something that our society as a whole lets us do. And so to share my story and then have people go, finally, like someone who gets me, someone who understands what I've been through and what I've suffered and how difficult it's been, it almost, I think, to answer your question, the biggest impact is seeing how everyone feels so alone. And then I share one story about how I got to this place. And now we all feel so connected and heard. It's not just me getting to have my story heard, but it's everyone else feeling like now they can share it with me and have their story heard as well.
Absolutely. And you talk about mental health, right? Which is something that still has a taboo kind of like connotation to it. But like back then, when you have a mental health, you go to the cuckoo place, right? There's no ifs and buts about you go to the cuckoo place. So it is something that is like a disease, but it's actually part of our lifestyle now. Whether like when you're a mom, when you become a mom, you have that part of mental health that you have to take care of. Being an entrepreneur has a part of mental health that you take care of, and whatever part that you have to do, which is like you kind of breaking the barrier and sharing your voice about that, something that people are not willing to share about, because again, it's something that is very taboo or superstitious to even talk about it. And you've been given the platform to like, what, this is what I went through. This is something that is real. This is how I felt. This is what I've gone through. So well done for that, Rai, for having that courage to share that part. And also you mentioned about, it's a trickling effect, isn't it? The rippling effect.
Very much so.
I feel like a book is like a golden ticket to places that you want to be. Like certainly in my work, like I help women with whether it's Forbes, TV, magazines, interview, TED Talk. A book actually got me to a TED Talk because I've written so many things. And with a TED Talk, guess what? You have to write your speech, right? It's so similar to a book. So beautifully said there, right? I'm gonna come to Anjani now, because Anjani says she's an introvert and intuitive. What I know about introverts, they know how to have a good time, right? Behind closed doors, she's like, oh, yeah, she has the party already going behind her. So Anjani, tell us the biggest impact that you have when being an author, and also what are the things that you did to celebrate yourself for going through this process?
Yes, for me personally, becoming a best-selling author has been incredibly liberating because it helped me come out. Even though I've been in business for myself for over a decade now, I found that I was doing it very quietly. As long as people didn't know that what I was doing, it was okay. I could hide, and there's no hiding anymore. And so there was this sense of personal liberation. Like I finally got to share my voice and my real story, the truth, all of it, nothing but the truth. So help me God, it's get it out there so that people can relate to what I've been through with what they are going through. So it's also, I agree with Sarah, validation. I literally cried. I cried when we launched, because finally I got to do something that I've always dreamed about. It's been on my vision board forever, since I can remember. And to finally realize that dream and do it with 17 other women who all have had that same experience and feeling, for me was so powerful. And I have beautiful friends now around the world in these women, and we are helping each other so much. And it's more than a book, it's a movement. So for me, what it's become and is becoming is a movement, and I really see that, and I feel very humbled and proud to be part of it. So it's been such an amazing gift, and it keeps giving, not just to us, but everyone who reads the stories. I've got lots of feedback from clients, from friends, from family who said, I didn't know that about you. And so it's great to just share that, be honest and real. That's what people connect with. And that's what inspires and motivates and mobilizes people when they connect on that real level.
Absolutely. And I think you just touch each and every one's heart with the word movement. That it is a movement that the way I see it, is a movement that builds bridges between people, between one world or the other. It's not just this world or this world, but it is the bridge, that a movement that builds the bridges, the connection, that people can from this world and that world to go through and, you know, to visit each other, to say hi. And it's actually such a powerful tool, and spoken like a true lawyer, the truth and nothing but the truth, that kind of like bringing it in. So what a beautiful way to kind of like trickle in that movement, isn't it, and journey, and then expansion from it, the trickling effect of it. So beautiful. So Taryn, darling, I know it touches your heart, isn't it, when you see this woman, because I know what it's like when you lead a book project. I've led multiple myself. It's always the same thing. It feels like you have another baby over and over, over and over again. So tell us, what is the biggest impact that you can see for yourself or your business or the people around you just by being an author and sharing your voice?
Yeah, there are so many benefits, and I'm crying. I just want to tell you all, you guys, I am so proud of each and every one of you. And it's like having another child, but within that, I've got so many more souls that are now connected and going forth and doing even more amazing things. And it's like being this mother that gets to see, is then releasing what she's done out into the world and seeing your vision made reality. Because with a multi-author book project, the vision comes from the facilitator first, the leader. And then you have to trust that whoever you're inviting in is that right fit. And we've discussed so many benefits here. You know, it's the authority piece, it's the personal development, the healing piece, it's the liberation piece. And you can also use it as a lead generating tool, a marketing tool for your business. You can give it away as a bonus in your funnel. And the key magic that happens here, the magic key, is that people aren't seeing this very polished version of you. They can connect to you on that human soul level and go, she gets me, or he gets me, or oh, me too, or she has the same values as me. Oh, I can see how she now has the skills to work with me on this thing. And so there are so many layers to a book. It is never just a book. You know, people come in thinking that they're just writing a book, but it's so much more than that.
Absolutely. It's bigger than they think, you know. I do get it, because how do you tell people it's just the beginning? But because to them it's like everything, like, you know, putting themselves out there. And you mentioned about the soul, right? It is the connection of the soul. Because in your chapter, you have your name, you have the title, but you don't have your face yet, you know, oh, face comes later. But it is the storytelling part that kind of connects one another. I mean, if Taryn, if you were to do like a textbook style book, everybody would be asleep by the first paragraph. Like nobody would kind of like, but it's a page turner. Like storytelling is a page turner. It's always is. That's why movie sells so well. Movie sells so well, because it is a page turner. So I love that part of it, the connection of the soul. And then it is a lead generation tool. It is a marketing tool. It is a business side. It is an authority tool. It is your purpose tool, whatever it is that you want to call it. It is a start to so many things. So let's wrap up this interview with leaving people with one powerful word that you can leave either from your chapter or yourself to, like, you know, make it scrunchy, make it delicious, make it sexy, make it intentional. So I'll start with Taryn and we go all the way up. So Taryn, what's your one power word?
It's courage.
Beautiful, courage. And Johnny, what's the one sexy word that you have to say today?
I have to echo that, courage.
Beautiful, courage. Sarah here, what is your one inspiring word for the day?
Alignment.
Alignment, beautiful. Rai, what is your one power word today?
Freedom.
Freedom, love it. And Rai, can I just say, do you do any voice acting because of your voice?
Do I?
Yeah, do you? Because I know you do copywriting. Do you do any voiceover, voice acting on
No,
Audible?
I have a podcast, but no, I don't. I'm not a voice actor, but thank you.
Okay, perfect. And another opportunity for you. If Taryn wants to turn this book into like an Audible, and probably there you go, right? You have that voice. You have that voice. Ching, ching, ching. That's what I do. And let's wrap up with all the way up to Hawaii, my beautiful friend Amy. What is your one power word?
I'm going to be a rebel. I'm going to do two. So first one is hope and second one is intuition.
Beautiful. Hope, intuition, courage, freedom. It is a part of each one of you, and it changes the power word, but embrace that. Embrace who you are, the intuition, the hope, the gut instinct, that what Anjani is saying, like it's when it's calling you, trust that gut instinct that it is meant for you. The best thing and the right thing will always be given to you. You just got to open your heart, and you just got to either say yes or no, especially when you've been praying, God, show me the sign, and then the sign comes and then knocking at your door. You're like, no, show me a sign, but it's there. So trust your gut, trust intuition, sharing your voice in a book or whatever platform that you choose, so that you can be the bridge, the connection with other souls, and create a movement to take people to wherever they want to and give them hope. Thank you so much, darlings. What a beautiful, beautiful interview today here. Thank you so much, Amy, Taryn, Rai, and Johnny, and Sarah for joining me today. If any of you ladies or those listening today would love to share your voices on prestigious platform, whether it's on books, TV, magazines, TED, Forbes, interviews, speaking engagements, come and check out izdiharjamil.com. We have something special for you. And for those of you ladies, can you just say hello? I mean, goodbye.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And until the next episode, this is your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. Tell yourself, yes, I can. And so it is done. Thank you for listening. Bye.